What's up, y'all? It's your boy Shaquille Romblay, and today we have to talk about Joe Biden and black folks. And when I say black folks, I'm talking about black people like you and I. So come January 20th, 2021, it is very clear that Joe Biden will be our new president. I mean, I think it's very clear to everybody except for Donald Trump, who is still refusing to concede. During Joe Biden's victory speech, he made a very clear promise to the black community. Here's what he had to say.
Especially those moments, and especially those moments when this campaign was at its lowest ebb, the African-American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I struggle with these statements quite a bit because what exactly does he mean when he says he has our backs? I mean, this statement is even more hard coming from the exact person who helped strengthen the 1994 crime bill. And if you know anything about the crime bill, that bill is the reason for the new Jim Crow, which is the reason why so many black people are incarcerated right now. So as you all know, Biden has already released his 100-day plan, and in his plan, he has highlighted issues that he will address that will primarily impact the black community. According to NPR, Joe Biden is planning on fighting against voter suppression. So he wants to extend the rights for people to vote freely without a lot of different types of laws that prevent them from doing so. And Joe Biden is committing to some type of police reform because he's trying to allocate $300 million to community policing. Black voters are indeed not a monolith. We have many different interests and we all go out and vote for different reasons. However, what motivated many of us to go out and vote this election was to get Trump the hell out of the office. So here's what I truly think it means to have our backs. Number one, Joe Biden definitely has to address issues surrounding housing. I know that Joe Biden launched on his website that he has a plan to give $640 billion over 10 years to make sure that all Americans have access to housing, and he does point out black and brown people on his website. However, black and brown communities were largely impacted by the financial and housing crisis under George Bush's administrations. But when we talk housing, we also talk gentrification and black people being pushed out of their communities. So Joe Biden definitely needs to find a way to tailor this in his plan. Biden also definitely has to address cannabis. I mean, we're now at a point now where 1 in 3 Americans live in a state where they can legally purchase cannabis. And the war on drugs, let's be honest, it was a war against black people. And black people often went to jail for sometimes having a small portion of cannabis on them. And now the cannabis industry is booming. It's a billion-dollar industry. And unfortunately, a lot of black people do not have the resources that they need to become entrepreneurs in this industry. So therefore, I think that Biden definitely needs to address this issue. And hey, I think it could be a form of reparations. We also definitely have to talk about environmental racism, Joe Biden, if you have our backs. When people talk about environmental racism, they often only think about Flint, Michigan. However, environmental racism goes far beyond water. According to the EPA, black children are 2 times as likely to be hospitalized for asthma and are 4 times as likely to die from asthma as white children. If we're gonna talk about racism, we cannot just talk about racism as a form of, I don't like you because of the color of your skin. We have to talk about the structures of racism. And sometimes to be black and brown means to live in an environment where you don't have access to the resources that you need to simply live. So like I said 1,000 times, being black is indeed not a monolith. So I wanted to reach out to some folks who voted for Biden and Harris and see what are their primary concerns. What do you want to see addressed? Here's what they have to say.
As a black gay man and also a Democratic voter, I would like the Biden administration to invest in mental health services for black people.
One thing I want the Biden-Harris administration to handle immediately is childcare. There are so many working parents like myself who have such a difficult time finding reliable, affordable childcare, and way too many parents working just to pay for childcare.
One thing I would like to see from the Biden administration is a concrete plan to tackle institutional racism throughout this nation. So for me, that looks like putting black people, specifically black women, in positions of power to be able to strategize and to be able to talk and come up with a concrete plan in how we're going to move forward and how we're going to tackle this issue of racism and address it head on.
So let's keep the conversation going. I want to know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see Biden address immediately. If you haven't, please subscribe and check out all the other content on the page. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to it.